What goes through your mind when you're watching him, like today, watching your dad up on the screen like this, and here's a full house, and as you say, you know, you must clearly be able to separate the actor up on the screen from the person you remember as your father.
You know, actually I don't. I kind of got into it too. I really, you know, I know that's my dad, but you know, I'm Dave Banion's son. You know, that's kind of, it's pretty neat, you know. And Richard Daddy-O from Blackboard Jungle, you know, Daddy-O. I mean, my father, I'm the son of many fathers, and my dad was it's kind of a hard thing to consider, but my dad was such an involved actor. He would just take his work home. That's why he wasn't necessarily the great, you know, mono dad, because he would kind of assume the persona of all these people he played. And I think that's what made him great. He got his start really on the stage, and that's where he learned. And he did a lot of plays when he was young. He was born in Canada, came here in 1922, and he was an only child, as my mother was an only child. And but he did a lot of stage work, and that's where he honed his skills. And he did a film in 1956 with Marlon Brando called TLC August Moon, not a noir. But I would welcome you guys to go out and rent that film or see that film, Tea House, because it was supposed to be Marlon's film. He had come off On the Waterfront and all these great things, and my dad was supposed to be Second Banana. I swear he stole that film from Marlon, absolutely. So, and Marlon didn't like it either. There's a story there, but
which I'm going to ask you to share then. You can't do this to us, Peter, say there's a story there and then not tell us the story. But I do want to point out, for those of you who may not have been aware of it, that Dave Banion's wife in this picture, Jocelyn Brando, is indeed Marlon Brando's sister. So if you notice a slight facial resemblance, that woman looks a little like Marlon Brando.
She didn't do a lot of work, really.
Yeah, she's terrific.
But she was very good. And of course, Gloria, I knew Gloria so well. And Evelyn Keyes, I'm going to be here tomorrow morning at 10, because I want to see that Peter Lorre movie as well.
Fantastic.
And Evelyn, I guess Evelyn was, as I was driving down here this morning from, but Evelyn
do you have Evelyn's stories?
Oh, well, I can't.
Oh, trust me, we all have Evelyn's stories, yes. You can tell them.
Well, my dad was, he was a Jimmy Stewart character, an everyman. But when he passed at age 90 in 2006, I knew he had kept a diary of every day of his life since 1934. And I have all those diaries, which were a great resource for me in writing my book.
No kidding. Wow.
But on the other side, he was a lot of Errol Flynn as well. And I have the names. He had a relationship, shall we call it, with 143 different women. So a lot of people out there picked up my book cover and they said, "Oh, he's so handsome." A lot of other women thought he was handsome too. But I've been married to my dear wife, who's out there with me, will be afterwards at our little table out there for 41 years. So well, thank you. She watches me like a hawk. I tell her, you know, honey, I'm old now. Nobody's interested. My hair's gray. She says, the fruit doesn't fall far from the tree.
Right.
So anyway, it's kind of cute. But no, he was a ladies' man, and that doesn't work too well when you're married.
Are you telling me that Evelyn was one of those 140?
You know what? Can I tell you the truth? She was not. But there were many who were. And you would know about 80% of them too. So.
Well, I have to tell you then, your dad was one of the few that Evelyn missed.
I do have an autographed picture she gave me once, and she says, from one of Glenn's playmates. And so I wondered at first, but after going through the diaries, they were very, very close friends. So she was a wonderful lady too. And so
they did a great picture together up in San Francisco called Mr. Soft Touch.
Yes.
That we have recently resurrected. It's a very strange kind of Christmas noir hybrid.
Right.
Yeah, it's quite good. Evelyn plays a very prim, almost spinsterish character in that film. Again, proving her chops as an actress, because nothing could be further from the truth.
Yeah, no, she was great. I was supposed to be in that film as one of the little kids, actually, but in that settlement house. But it didn't happen.
Now, your dad, you said you don't know if he was in many noir films, but honestly, he's in as many as almost any other actor who's synonymous with film noir, really. He's in The Undercover Man and The Big Heat and Human Desire. And, there's a lot of pictures that he made. But he also, like another actor, say like Robert Ryan, also made a lot of Westerns. He was so comfortable in Westerns, looked so right on a horse, just had the face for it and everything. And even this picture, I have long declared that of all the noir films, The Big Heat is the one that structurally is closest to a Western. It really feels like an Old West saga to me, that the sheriff is stripped of his powers and he throws away his badge and he's going to bring in those cattle rustlers on his own, and the whore with the heart of gold who ends up being, it's so much a Western.
I hadn't thought of it, but you're right. Yeah, he did do a lot of Westerns. And he loved Westerns. He always felt movies talked too much. Every time he'd get a new script, he would go through and just eliminate not only his dialogue, but after he became a big enough presence on the film, he would start cutting other people's dialogue, which didn't go too well for those other actors who were struggling for, I never got more than 2 or 3 words in one of his films. But he just felt they talked too much, just too much talking. And he said, let the audience do the work. And so
that's brilliant, because I have long contended that a lot of actors, when they get some power in Hollywood, they become auteurs in their own right. They are as responsible for what you're seeing on the screen as the producer, the writer, or the director. I mean, tomorrow, I know Alan has programmed Possessed with Joan Crawford. Joan Crawford, to me, is as much an auteur as anybody in Hollywood. She is responsible for all of her performances and what you see. So what you're telling me about your dad is fascinating to me, because that's what Glenn Ford brought to the screen that was so emblematic of that noir man, the man of few words, tight-lipped, serious, taciturn. That's the character he played in Noir. So to have you say he did it, he cut out the dialogue, is significant. He's a major contributor to the film.
Joan is on the list, by the way.
Wow. Talk about noir.
And Betty Davis, too. So
Is there an appendix in the book that just has the full list?
No, I think there's a little bit about Joan in there, and there's something about Betty too. But but no, I don't really. It's not all about that. I suggest a few things to let your imagination go wild, and it couldn't be any wilder than the truth. Believe me.
Now,